Hey,
what do you foresee taking the place of if the capitalistic system is collapsing? What is going to come in and take its place?
Well, of course, we're going to have a socialist revolution in the United States, the extension of democracy to control of the economy. That's what socialism is. Socialism represents working people having control over production, deciding what is in our interest. Do we want to, where is the public fund to be invested? In creating high-rise glass buildings for developers like Heinz, or in creating, we have productive capacity in the United States sufficient for all of us to enjoy free housing, free schooling, free health care as a right like the air we breathe. It's only the backwardness of our society that allows us to accept that a tiny cabal can master trillions upon trillions of dollars and cannibalize the infrastructure of our society based upon the value created by our labor, and usurping all of that under their own control as backward and retrograde a system as the feudal order of the past, as the Dark Ages. And this period of late capitalism will be understood and seen for the Dark Ages that it is, compared to what we can accomplish when we, the many, have democratic control over our lives, over the economy, over the politics of society, and over governance. That's the song of the future.
And I was under the impression, though, that Obama was talking in that direction, and you're saying no, he's not.
How do you figure that Obama is talking in that direction?
What
is Obama doing?
Obama is doing.
Obama is attempting to do what the captains of capital always do, is to sucker people into channeling their disaffection into controllable arenas. Obama talks vaguely about change and about hope. What does that mean? He translates that into appointing all of the captains of capital, the instruments, the same people who served Bush, the same Secretary of Defense, the same Secretary of the Treasurer, the same Rahm Emanuel, who was the Master of Security who is an affiliate of the Zionist state itself. Barack Obama is just another paid-for politician by the same ruling class.
I don't disagree with you on that. What I'm just saying is there was other programs that tended to look like he was leaning in the socialist direction.
Well, I tell you what, let me read you something, a very interesting article that appeared in the publication called the State Journal Register. It said, Obama doesn't talk like Bush, he just acts like him. You can't blame Dick Cheney for being annoyed at Barack Obama. Obama is closing Guantanamo. He's ordering the CIA to interrogate prisoners according to rules within the Army Field Manual, which doesn't allow torture. He's phasing out some classic Bushian phrases as enemy combatant and war on terror. But the dark prince of neoconservatism should relax. Obama's address may have promised to, quote, reject as false the choice between our safety and our ideals. But in all ways that matter, he's keeping every one of Bush's outrageous policies in place. He talks a good game, but nothing has changed. From reading your emails to inserting the right to assassinate American citizens to bailing out the corporations whose executives pay themselves bonuses, Obama's changes are nothing but toothless rhetoric. Closing Gitmo, reported in the New York Times, was, quote, a move that seemed intended to symbolically separate the new administration from Bush detention policies, but in a much-anticipated court filing, Obama's Justice Department argued the president has the authority to detain suspects without criminal charges, exactly as the Bush administration asserted, and it provided a broad definition of who can be held, no different from that used by Bush. What will happen to the POWs still at Gitmo? They won't be called enemy combatants. They won't be going home either. They're going to be sent to Bagram in Afghanistan. Countless victims in Gitmo 2, courtesy of Barack Obama, tortured by the U.S. military at Bagram, the U.S. airface in Afghanistan, where Bush imprisoned hundreds of people without charges, many of them murdered in the camp's notorious salt pits. children have not been spared, quote unquote, says Amnesty International. Bagram is being expanded, doubled in size, to accommodate hundreds of more detainees, not only from Gitmo, but from everywhere. POWs from Obama's expanded war in Afghanistan, worse than Guantanamo, conditions that are far worse. Extraordinary rendition will continue under Obama. Quote, New York Times. In little notice confirmation testimony recently, the New York Times states, Obama nominees endorsed continuing the CIA program of kidnapping prisoners and transferring to other countries without legal rights, indefinitely detaining suspects without trial, even if arrested far from any war zone. During the 2008 campaign, Obama's critics accused him of saying nothing, although beautifully. Now we've got to know him a bit. It's time to refine that assessment. He's just a weasel, an eloquent weasel, but a weasel who says the right things while doing the opposite. That's his function. That's what he's paid to do. On March 9th, Obama ordered federal agency to suspend Bush's infamous signing statements, sneaky documents issued after the signing of a bill that ordered government agencies not to enforce the very same bill he just approved in front of the cameras. Signing statements, says the American Bar Association, use one-man dictatorial rule to negate the people's will and is contrary to the rule of law and constitutional separation of powers. Yet 2 days later, literally, Obama signed a $410 billion spending bill and appended to it a signing statement claiming that he had the authority to ignore any oversight provision or any determination by Congress.